Hello everyone!
Hi, welcome back to our channel. It's a great pleasure to have you. Thank you for the latest subscriptions that we have. We're really having an amazing time making these videos for you. So thank you so much for the following. And yeah, we're super happy you are there.
Today we're going to talk to you about maternity leave in the UAE, which is quite an exciting topic. And we do want to give you a little bit of an update on what we're up to.
Definitely, yeah. So lately we've been planning different stages for things like Mama. As you know by now, our main concept is just to share stories of other mamas out there, and for you and for us to watch and listen and try to find some inspiration. And now we are looking into just putting a little bit onto face-to-face
How
motion.
about what if we could meet?
Yes, so we are talking about that now, so we'll definitely keep you posted on which one are the next
Steps for us. Yeah.
Exactly.
So in the meantime, come on over to our Instagram channel. There we post little highlights of our videos here, and you get to know a little bit more about our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear more about maternity leave in the UAE, stay tuned. So here with us today is Nawal. She has been living for a while in Dubai and is working here as well. And she will tell us a bit about how having the baby and maternity leave went for her here. Hi Nawal, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
So Nawal, tell us, where are you from? How long have you been in Dubai? How old is your daughter?
So I'm from Lebanon and I've been in Dubai for the last 8 years and my daughter is 4 years old.
Beautiful.
So at the time, your employer at the time, that was 45 days, right? Allocated for maternity leave.
Yeah.
And how is it back home? How much do you get?
So I had to research that, yeah. so it was 10 weeks and they're actually making it 11 weeks now in Lebanon. But I'm not sure if they are actually applying it. The law is that, but I'm not sure about it being done properly in Lebanon.
So did you go into it with any expectation, or did you just accept whatever was given here?
Actually, everything was so first. So it was my first experience, my first baby, my first work with like being pregnant, everything. I definitely felt that it was short, but I never had that like outrageous feeling about it. Like how can they just give me 45 days or something? Like I never had that.
Yeah. So at this point, I just want to read out an article from Gulf News that I found around maternity leave, because I feel that, and that's something that you just said, is whatever expectation you have going into it from your back home country will influence how you feel about the maternity leave that is given to you by your employer. Or you have an open mind like you did and you just accept and you know do with whatever is the case. So places like the US, of course, they have 0 allocated weeks, and it's on the mercy of your employer what you kind of work out with them. As a second spot, they mentioned Bulgaria. Apparently they have 58 weeks. So that's a year.
58 weeks?
Seriously? That's a year and a month and a half.
Wow.
That's pretty good. In India, you get 6 months.
Okay.
That's cool. In the Philippines, you get 4 months.
Okay, I'm more aligned to that time.
Yeah.
4 months sounds
was
like.
you?
I had 6 months altogether actually.
Yeah, I
And
had
it was too much.
3 months.
Yeah,
That was too much.
Too long. It was meant to be 4.5, and then there were no courses for the return to work, so extended to 6 months.
I had 3. Just for our audience.
Just have 45 days.
45 for a brilliant mixture. So we said Philippines 4 months, then UAE 45 days or a month and a half, we know that. Canada gets 4 months, and Australia gets 4.5 months. The UK gets a year.
Nice.
Austria gets 4 months, and me being from Germany, obviously, we get a year and a half.
Wow.
So that's quite a different expectation for someone like me to come in. So I think in Germany now it's a year and a half, and you can split it between the husband and the wife. So
Okay.
you can take paternal leave, so you can split it between the two.
Yeah.
I think it's like a year, and then the husband can tag on another half year or something. So that was my
Cool.
kind of expectation from back home. Coming here was a bit of, like you said, it was a bit of a shock, and I was a bit kind of thinking, if I will find myself in a situation of 45 days, how will I work that out? Like, how do you do? And so we're interested how you do.
Definitely, yes.
Well, I gathered every resource I can find to help me with that. So I had my mother come over for 3 months, and then my dad followed to help her. Not much, but he did. My sisters were here as well. And then after that 3 months, my mother-in-law came along with all the others as well, and it was a 6 months of amazing help for me. Otherwise, thinking about it, I don't think I would have been able to do it.
I think that help is really important, and that help is really
they actually had to let go of everything they have, like their life, and come and just stay with me in my home for 3 months. I think it's not easy. They were definitely excited to see Italia and everything, but it's definitely not easy.
It's not always possible as well, like we take it for granted sometimes, because in my case it was the same. My mom, bless her, anytime I need her, she travels and she spends time with us. But it's not always
the case
possible. So
there's so many others that can't get their parents here for any other reasons, and they really suffer. Like, for example, they would just postpone work, or they would change their life because they cannot do it.
Absolutely. It happens. And in your case, the 45 days, just to clarify, is after you give birth, right? So previously to give birth,
towards the very end. Like when your tummy is that big and you're like so heavy, you're working towards the very end. Unless your employer is a bit okay with you working from home, then that would help a bit.
And how did you feel?
Working towards the last. It was good because I don't know. I was super heavy. That's what I remember. I was super heavy. But I didn't want to stay home. Like, I wanted to go out and like,
still be active.
I wanted to live it towards the very end of it.
And I think once you're used to a kind of active lifestyle, even before falling pregnant, you kind of want to extend it even when you are. It doesn't matter if you're like 20 kilos over your regular weight. Had a similar experience to you.
And your friends at work and stuff, they kind of like super excited as much as you are to get the baby. So they want to see there's a lot of that spirit that helps you stay towards the very end.
Push to the very end.
Nice.
So when you had your baby, and the 45 days were over, how did you feel going back? Like, did you think it was too little? Would you have liked more? Were you okay with it?
Honestly, they were the longest 45 days of my life. Because I've always been only responsible for myself, right? And now I have a baby that cries at night. So that cries all the time, especially at night. And I just wanted to go back to my life. I think that was I was passing through a very severe depression, and I just couldn't wait to get back to work and get back to my life. And that's what I can remember. But then thinking about it again, maybe if I wasn't that little, pampered from my parents and stuff, maybe I wouldn't have that luxury to go back to work. I would have felt bad.
So you're saying if the support hadn't been there, like that's really, I think that's such a tough call to make, and I feel so fortunate because I didn't have to make that call. I came back to a job that allowed me to work from home. Which would have been perfect, to be honest. Like, you would go for a few hours to work and then come back home whenever you feel like it, because that is when you start getting more and more attached to your baby, and you want to be there for them, right? I think that is the toughest part, where the guilt feeling is the toughest part as well. And I think that's, until today, I don't have guilt. When I go to sports, when I go to work, when I go to hang out with my friends, I don't feel guilty. And I think part of that is also because I spent the first 2 years working from home. Of course, I wasn't home all the time. There were client meetings and there were events, and I was on jobs and stuff like that. But still,
you were around.
I was here. I saw the kid growing up. I could jump in at any moment when I felt like, no, right now he needs his mom. And that was just blessing for my situation. It was that was really perfect, and it made me not have to choose. It made me not have to choose between a job and my baby, and until this day, I don't know what I would have chosen. I'd like to think that I would have stuck with work, but maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe I would have, stayed at home. Yeah. So I think it would have been very difficult for me to not have
flexible working hours and flexible location where you are exactly.
Yes.
Whether at the office or back home is very important, and not all companies are flexible in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's a matter of resources as well. Like they do need you at work as well, probably. So the companies, they might face certain struggles into thinking, I do need her, but I also understand the human side of it. You know, so it might be tough from both sides when it's a small company, perhaps, and they don't have the resources. If that particular employee, it's not there.
Exactly.
And your role as well, I think, in the company makes a lot more difference.
If there's no one to replace you, what do they do?
But you're a mom at the end of the day, right? Like if you're a manager or just an executive, or whether you're in sales or whether you're in events, you have just witnessed the miracle that happened and you became a mom. And I think that they really need to back you up in that. They really need to understand where you're heading, and they need to give you that freedom. So that if they really want to keep you, then you will stay. Otherwise, if they don't want to keep you, then you're free to go, right? Yeah. So,
I think there are a couple of initiatives now, though, in Dubai that kind of go more towards that. If you look at recruitment agencies like Hopscotch and Moms at Work, they're very good at talking to potential employers about the benefits of hiring a mom, because it's not just that we come with the baggage of a little kid that tugs at our attention all the time. We also develop certain skills that will make us problem solvers or more effective in certain situations
100%.
than people that are not moms or dads. I want to be inclusive here.
We're not shy of perhaps going out there. I don't know, maybe I'm just simplifying it to people I know or to my own experience. But I do feel that moms, if there's something that needs to be said or some action needs to be taken there and then, you will do it. It's part of that instinct that we develop for a child. And that for companies, sometimes it's very useful, because there's so many people that they would just, perhaps not speak up or, not find a solution. That being a mom, sometimes some things they need to be said or some action needs to be taken for with a goodwill for the company in this case. I think a very hot topic that you just mentioned is postpartum depression. A lot of women go through that, and there are different ways of it as well. Perhaps we might have another episode like specifying this topic a little bit deeper, because I feel we were talking about it before before we started shooting, and I was telling you, like, from the moment that my daughter was born until perhaps 6 months, I almost don't remember anything. Like, I know I was there with her, obviously, breastfeeding her and changing her, and I was obviously physically there, but my soul and my mind, if I have to think back, I don't think I was there. It's so strange, and I cannot say I was depressed, but maybe it was a sort of symptom.
Right.
It's so deep, this topic. So your depression, how did it hit you? Like, what sort of things you think made you think or realize perhaps afterwards, yes, I was actually depressed?
No, when I was depressed, I felt like I was depressed, because I was crying every time. Like, if anybody talks to me about anything, I just cry. And I just thought that, am I enjoying this? Like, is this what I expected, like, from my baby? Like, I don't love her as much as I want to, like, all of these new things that are happening. And I think the worst is actually waking up at night. When you had the luxury of sleeping through the night and then you wake up. Actually, you didn't have the luxury for the past 6-7 months when you're not really like, you just want to sleep finally, like, it's out, you want to sleep. I think I don't know, like, I just when it was happening, I felt that it was happening. I felt like I was depressed. I realized it, and I didn't like anything about me, like, I didn't like how I looked, because, like, we think that we're gonna just get thin again.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then all the new hormonal things that are happening and the way it changes, I feel like what am I? Like, what is happening to me?
Yeah.
A lot of changes. So yeah, I felt it.
Interesting.
I think that's super interesting, and I think it's a topic that that I'm starting to be very passionate about. Is that moms judging other moms for certain things, and I think sometimes there's a bit of a stigma out there for someone to go back to work. How can she go back to work and leave her child alone? And I think that's also coming from Germany and having that month and a half. See, France, they have 2 to 4 months. Spain have 2 months. It's very normal.
Yeah.
Even in East Germany, the system of so in the former East German, before the reunification, the childcare was so well placed so that moms could go back to work, and that was the norm. But then for me, it's always like nearly this: how can she pick up and go back to work? And at the end of the day, a mom has to do whatever makes her the best version of herself.
True.
And if that means, as in your case, you need to go back to work to find yourself again so that you can give the best of you to your child, then that's it. And if it means that you need to stay at home and be a full-time mom at home, then you need to stay.
You kind of know. I think it's like you said, you felt like you needed to go back to work. Well, I know other moms that they tell you, no, I felt I needed to stay, you know, and it's that instinct again, you know, like talking about with feelings rather than just,
Exactly.
I love that.
And I think we have to, we have to accept that that's a personal choice, and that it's independent of anyone else. And everybody's entitled to take that choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
True. So, well, indeed, it was 45 days. That's what you got. We already clarified that. How did you prepare? Apart of having all the help that you said, did you make certain sort of routines for when you were going to be back at the office? Which one was the preparation?
Yeah, so I always wanted to go early to the office and leave a bit earlier.
Okay.
That's what I did. Like all the breastfeeding and stuff, you have to prepare it before you go to work. Because unfortunately at work, like, there's no place for you to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was very tough to find a place.
Yeah.
Think about, like, imagine where can women do it, which is a bit sad. Yeah, and smelly.
Yeah, I understand.
And then I had to, like, Talia was now on a routine, but definitely, like, every 2 weeks the kids change, right?
Yeah,
so
the
routine is never there. So I tried as much as I can to make sure that me and my mom are almost agreeing on every single thing, right? Like, what's the dose of the food, how many times to feed her, like how to wait, even if she cries and so on, like, to make sure that the routine is there. But yeah, I mean, that's all I had to do. And then coming back to work, I just had to buy new clothes, I think. That was the toughest part. But
As well?
yeah, because I was planning to lose weight, but I didn't lose it all. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Did you used to freeze?
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I forgot a very important thing.
What?
Which is not exactly just after maternity, because I didn't feel like I was ending my maternity until my mother-in-law left. Okay. So that was after 6 months, and I had my nanny. So we had cameras all over the house. I had more than 6 or 8 cameras.
Oh my God!
I think I have 8. Yeah, all connected to my phone. I felt like I was, like, scanning, the whole house with that. And where Talia's sleeping, where does she play, where does she eat, like, they were so auto-focused as well, so I can know exactly what is happening. That was exactly like that.
I think 6 to 8 cameras, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
I know people that have
How big was your house, man?
It's not that big, but I wanted to control everything. Single corner.
Interesting. And did that make you feel a little bit more at ease? Like,
yes,
you're still there without being physically.
So it's funny that I actually just opened, like, how can you be focusing on 2 things, right? Like, you're focusing on your phone, what's happening at home, and
with
then as well at work with 7 screens on it, and then
this is what you were
when one stops working, you're freaking out. Like, what's happening?
What's happening in that place?
What is she doing?
Even if she's not there, you see Oh my God, interesting. But this is very common here. Here in Dubai, I had a lot of colleagues who have introduced cameras into their homes. Yeah, I haven't done it, but maybe at someday, why not? You kind of feel. I think I understand the security from a mom feeling more at ease.
Yeah, it does. It helps a lot.
It helps a lot. Yeah. Interesting.
So our last question. Now the landscape in Dubai is slightly changing, right? They're going from 45 days to 3 months, I think, in government.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So if there's a mom out there, one of our viewers, who is pregnant and she just found out she only gets 45 days, what are your 3 tips that you would give, 3 pieces of advice to put her a little bit at ease and make it an easy transition?
I should take it easy. That's the very beginning of it, is to actually take it easy. She needs to be prepared with a nanny, which is very important. If she can get her nanny before she delivers the baby, before she has the baby, it's a very important thing, because the nanny as well will develop that emotional bonding with the baby, and then she will be ready. She will have time to have trained her, and just in case she didn't find the nanny happy to be with the baby, she had to find another one, then she'll have time to actually go and find another one. So that's very important, because honestly, without live in or live out, it doesn't matter, or just a help during the day, if that is not available for you as a mom or as a working mom, I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. Another thing is that just go with the flow and don't have over expectations about everything, because everything you have seen on TV or you have been talked to will be happening.
Like mama,
all the good things will be happening. Just even if you didn't love your baby from the very first breath, I mean, like as much as you would definitely love her, but not as much as you would. That love will continue growing. And last but not least, try to adapt to the new things instead of just fighting it. I think adapting is very important, because you have to get adapted to the way your new life is. You never knew how it would be, especially if it's your first experience, then everything is pretty new. And just listen to your mom. I think she knows, right? Like, don't just fight with her and Google everything around. Like, be there. She's there for you, and just appreciate it for her. I think she made you, so
exactly.
Yeah, she have her credentials.
Nice.
That's it.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and don't miss all these amazing stories that we have of other mamas in our YouTube channel. See you next time. And for all mamas out there,
trust your instincts
and think like mama. Thank you.
Bye bye.